about when it came to whiteness and white people?
So this is me sharing my thoughts about whiteness as it pertains to white women and their desire for a relationship with black women. This is what I think. I have a feeling that I am not the only black woman who agrees. Once again, for educational purposes. So we got a quick history of romance, right? And white women's central place in it, right? And now we kind of are coming to this other place. I never knew what was I never knew what was going on. You know, I'm one of those people, I'm a little bit oblivious. My head is usually either in a book or thinking about being in a book. And so things like jealousy, it takes me a while to get that that's what's going on. And I can tell you of two situations in my recent romantic life where white women have stepped into what I would consider extreme behavior in order to deal with their feelings about my being someone's preference as opposed to themselves. Because you have to remember something. I grew up with white girls. And the white girls in my town, you were not taught to get a man. It was not about getting a man. It was about appealing to all men. So if a guy liked you, that's nice. But it's much, much better that you be thought the pretty girl and that all the men like you. But that's not how I was raised. I was not raised romance-centered. I was not raised man-centered. So I didn't really understand what kind of stakes I was playing at or what kinds of things were going on in the background when somebody's brother would approach me or stare at me. It's gotten to a point now, because like I say, most of my life happens online, that I know when a guy likes me by which women start trying to become my friends. So your boyfriend said something nice about me. So now you are in my box trying to become my friend. Sexual jealousy is, there are things I've been afraid, this is for educational purposes. There have been times when I've been afraid of white women. The way that conversations that should be very simple can go thermonuclear. The way that I have been targeted because of one of them having a crying fit over something that was her fault. Those are all things that were scary, but I've gotten over that. But I will tell you, when it comes to their jealousy, I'm still nervous. Because remember, this is about survival. It's about survival and status for them. I'm not saying that black women do not want to be partnered up. I'm not saying that black women will not do crazy things for men. I'm not saying any of that. I am saying that most of us do not expect as our due to receive the attention of all the men in the room, or else there's something wrong. And that is something that I have noticed. I've noticed in my associations with white women a lot. Doesn't matter who the guy is. I mean, I remember going somewhere with a girlfriend. We were going to McDonald's. It's like 11 o'clock at night. She did the straighten up and jerk for the guy at the window. The guy working the McDonald's window.
This is editing me to say, sight unseen. She did the straighten up and jerk. We had not even seen the guy's face yet.
She's either got a boyfriend or is about to have a boyfriend again. She has someone she's interested in, who's interested in her. And she still felt the need to make sure that she looked good for this dude who was running the window, clearly not the top dog. because he's running the window at 11 o'clock at night on a weekend at McDonald's. There are certain parts of this, the confidence things, the accountability thing. There are certain parts of this where I feel like I have some kind of solution, but I don't have a solution for this. I think what is happening is that over time, men are sort of screwing themselves, and white women are becoming much less interested in them. But of course, even in that, they're sort of following our example. Sexual jealousy. Again, Black women come equipped with qualities that are considered very sexually attractive. The average ideal of a Black woman: full lips, wide hips, big breasts, soft skin. These are things that men like in women's bodies. And for many of us, they come standard featured. And it is less so for white women. And they've had a problem with that issue. They've had a problem with white men's appreciation, desire for our bodies since slavery. We don't even, for the longest time, up until like recently, I mean like really recently, we didn't even want their attention, but we were getting it anyway. It can't just be for them as simple as heterosexual men who like women like women. And it's okay if sometimes the women that they like are Black or are not you. But let a Black man express that he loves Black women and thinks Black women beautiful. And we've seen the stories. Let Don Lemon say that he thinks that Michelle Obama is better looking than Melania Trump, and we've seen the stories. Let Meghan Markle marry a prince of the realm and then leave his royal family for her sake, and we cannot stop seeing the stories. It does not take much to trigger this particular kind of jealousy. And when it does show up, it shows up with the goal of complete obliteration. Because you start to ask yourself, what would be enough for you to do to me that would satisfy you? And anytime I've been in this situation with a white woman, I've never found an answer. I don't think they know. I really do think it is my lack of existence that would make them most happy in those moments. So I think one of the things that would be really helpful to white women is to stop believing that all the men have to want them all the time. It's enough just for one or two to want you sometimes. Especially if you find one, especially if you find one of them attractive, because you only really need one unless you're poly. At which case, you get one, then eventually you find another. But this greed that is part of white female culture, which requires all of the guys to want you all of the time as a way of scorekeeping, it is yet another thing that is coming between you and us. It would be one thing if it was only your own men that you cared about, but you care when our men prefer us as well. I don't have the answers. I don't have real answers to any of these questions. So far, all I've been able to figure out how to do is sort of define the problem of why it is that Black women and white women have not been able to form a sisterhood in this day and age. The answers, I hope, are things, other people will come up with. Hopefully, there will be other conversations. Hopefully, there will be wiser heads than mine with answers.